Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
Good evening, Broncos Country. Welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. My name's 𝐁𝐫𝐸, and I am more than happy to be with you here tonight because we are celebrating another Broncos win. Guys, I'm getting bored of saying it. It's just so much winning. I'm just tired of it. I'm kidding. I'm not, of course, because we beat the Chiefs in a huge way at the very last second. Same field goal distance as it was last year, almost to the same day a year ago. I know I'm taking all the big talking points away just to make you guys struggle a little bit, but it's fantastic. So we're going to have a great time tonight, guys. Put your comments and questions in the chat. We want to hear everything that you guys have to say about what the Broncos are doing, where they're at, and going into the bye week. So let's have some fun. I got Spotty and David with me here tonight. I also got Jared. Jared, unfortunately, will not be really celebrating as much because he really didn't think it was that important of a game. It kind of said it was like a preseason game, kind of like whatever. So that's what I took away from the pregame podcast.
This is Ken trying to get back at me for I maybe overgeneralized how important you thought this game was. A little bit. And he got a little bit upset about how I made it a little too far. That's all. I just said that he thought this was the greatest game this century.
But hold on, because you know what, Jared, there's a fair point to be made there. But nobody in public is privy to certain predictions that Kevin made before this game. And if he's not careful about how much he goes after others and hits out, he might find that prediction revealed to the public before the show is over. So
no, you don't have to worry about it. I've already put it out there. I talked about all night last night on the show. I had a video about it. I was wrong. I was dead ass wrong. I don't even deserve to have this sign. Okay. I am ashamed of myself.
Honestly, Kev, when you said it, I thought you were joking. Originally, I thought, and then like there was no LOL after. I was like, nope, this is just Kevin hitting rock bottom.
But Kev, you know who wasn't wrong? I wasn't wrong in multiple ways. One of them talking about this, right? Talking about I was going to be a chess match with a thing. I was also not wrong that it was going to be a field goal that Bo-Nix had to drive down and kick a field goal to win the game.
Yep.
Winner.
I was off a little bit on the score, but definitely knew it was going to come down to a field goal where it was going to be in Bo-Nix's hands.
Okay. You know, Jared gets off a ship, and all of a sudden he's right all the time, okay? Right? Get more time deployed, Jared. You'll probably be right.
We have not lost a game since I got home from deployment. Just saying.
I'll tell you what really bothered, like there was like in the gaff, like the show had this giant gaff about the 21-day practice rule. We couldn't edit it out. There was anyway. And then Jared just completely nails how this game's going to go from start to finish. In like, what do you do?
Yep.
I love it. Guys, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and so let's just open it up as the chat is getting active. You guys are flowing on in here. Again, hit that share button for us, guys. Make sure you're following, and subscribing. But let's start talking about this. Broncos win 22-19. We can go through the numbers. Bo-Nix essentially more or less outplays Patrick Mahomes. Huge win, must-win game, more or less, or in some degree for the Chiefs. A very important one for them to win, and they didn't. So, Spotty, let's start with you tonight, man. Mix it up a little bit. We'll go the other direction. Where you sitting? How you taking this? Other than just freaking amazing, right?
I don't know about anybody else, but I've spent way too much time checking on if folks are backtracking all the different things they've said about the Broncos over the last couple of weeks. And you know what I have found? There's a lot of people who are in the middle. They're either backtracking or they're going all the way in. They're like, you know what? Maybe the Chiefs weren't as good as we thought they were. That's why the Broncos won the game. So I'm enjoying it. I probably sent a couple of people messages in their comments. Just want to have these conversations with these people, because at this point we cannot be denied. There's no longer saying, hey, the Broncos only beat Justin Fields and the Jets. The Broncos only beat Jackson Dart and the Giants. Now the conversation is about, well, the Broncos have beat Dak Prescott. The Broncos have beat Pat Mahomes. He's the quintessential quarterback in the NFL. If you can beat him, then maybe your team has got what it needs to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's as simple as that. But you see the goalposts continue to move. It's always a reason. This, right? So, David, I mean, follow it up with that, man. The spot on.
I mean, for me, it's Bo Nix is my biggest takeaway from this game. And, Jared got the most things right in the pregame podcast by far. I did nail one prediction in that I knew Bo Nix was going to play better in this game than he played in the Raiders game, just because he's a better, he's shown himself to be a better NFL quarterback than he showed himself to be in the Raiders game. And everybody's allowed to have a bad game. It's a little bit better when you win that bad game anyway. But this Bo Nix, the guy who goes up against this supposedly really tough Steve Spagnuolo defense and plays, I mean, I'll say it, the best game of his career. Even though he didn't throw a touchdown pass, the best game of his career in this particular game, coming off all those questions, coming off the boos, coming off all the media noise about him. And so now, looking a little bit forward, if you get this guy and he becomes this guy who builds on this performance for the rest of the season, man, you could really have something going into the playoffs. We'll see. There's a lot of time between now and January, but it's a really, really positive sign for a quarterback who was trending down for several weeks, even though the Broncos were winning games.
Yeah. And the numbers, if you look at the season total numbers so far, they're not great. They're not abysmal, right? But they're not top. They're definitely not top 10, top 12. Middle of the pack average, maybe a little bit below that. But again, it goes back to Bo Nix's second year, give him some time to develop. We see progression still. And this is the same time last year where he really started to get going, right? So hold on. I know this was a huge win, but we got 6 games left to play. And that's 6 opportunities for Bo Nix to continue to get better and better each week. Jared, buddy, what you got for us?
David, what you got? You want to?
No. I've got a rant. So, Jared, please finish out this topic. So.
Yeah, I do. I want to talk about Bo Nix a little bit. I obviously want to talk about the coaching matchup that we had there and the crap that everybody keeps giving. Everyone thinks Sean Payton's the downfall of this team somehow. I don't know what's going on, but we need it. Was that the rant you're about to go on?
Oh, this is exactly it. So lead me in, Jared. Go for it. Because I want Spotty to respond to this last. Absolutely.
I'll save that to the end of my rant so I can lead you into it. So talking about Bo Nix, yes, he threw for 295 yards, probably the most yardage he's thrown in a long time. 0 touchdowns, which is a little bit concerning. We had the ball down on the 3-yard line twice, right? Ended up settling for 2 field goals early in the game. Obviously, a win's a win, right? So it doesn't really matter how it ends up at the end. However, there's some ways to learn. What I love the most about Bo Nix, and we talked about this day in and day out on every Tuesday night show that I've been on, is the ability for Bo Nix to adjust to the NFL level in his second year. And you saw it when you listen to the Kansas City Chiefs. I forget which defensive lineman was saying in his post-game interview.
Chris Jones.
Was like Chris Jones,
defensive lineman.
The best defensive lineman. He lined up and saw Bo Nix call exactly what defense they were going to run, and then throw a dart to get out of the pocket and throw a dart to Cortland Sutton for the first down on that last drive. He knew exactly what they were lined up in, which means he's watching the tape, which means he's reading defenses, which means he's using his brain to be able to call it out and get those first downs and get us into the position to win the game. That's the quarterback you need. That's the quarterback we have, and that's what I love about it. Now, leading David into the little bit of a pedestal here, giving Sean Payton a lot of crap, and I get it, right? Another crazy trick play down in the end zone, right? Didn't work again, but if it would have worked, he would have looked like a genius, right? But we got to stop we got to stop looking at Sean Payton as like, oh, because he sucks at playing play calls, our offense is awful. Now, don't get me wrong. We're out without our number one running back, right? RJ Harvey couldn't get nothing going. We couldn't get anything going in the run game. McLaughlin was running decently well. He was getting a couple chunk yards here and there, but the situational, time that it ended up being towards the end of the first half, and then towards the end of the game, it was must throw football. So he ends up going, Bo Nix ends up going for 295 yards on 37 attempts. I don't think it's a play calling issue. I think it's a combination of Sean Payton and Bo Nix, which I've been saying from the very beginning, because a combination of those two being on the same page. Bo Nix clearly has the ability to change the play call on the line. He's done it multiple times, and this one he was very successful in against Kansas City Chiefs. This means he's watching the film and on the same page as Sean Payton. I think the play calling is fine. I think, yes, people are going to be mad about the random trick plays, but it's worked for us before. I mean, shoot, our introduction on this is Bo Nix of our show here on Bourbon Broncos and OBS. Is Bo Nix catching a ball in the end zone, getting it thrown back to him, right? So if it works, it works. And he's a genius. If it doesn't, everyone's like, he needs to stop calling plays. And I think we need to kind of maybe settle down on that. We're 9-2. I think we're doing something right, and I think it's okay. David.
And bless you, Jared, because, man, you couldn't have said it better. There are two things that I have a little bit of beef with, maybe more than a little bit of beef with Sean Payton in this game. The trick play, again, for another week in a row where you're just like, come on, man. This now, in this situation, here in this game, okay, put that aside, because you know what? On the other side of it, football's supposed to be fun, and God damn it, almost no coach in the NFL tries these trick plays. And yeah, when they work the 1 time out of 10 that they actually work, it's like, fuck, that was fun as hell. Putting that aside, the other thing is, and God, I hate agreeing with Tony Romo on anything, because man alive, the Patrick Mahomes worship is a little bit absurd. But the getting the play in to Bo Nix in from the sideline, if that process can be streamlined, whether or not Sean Payton is shortening the play calls, let's just get them to the offensive huddle a little faster, because it did feel like noticeable on the screen when they had more time, when Bo Nix had time to communicate to the play. If they're getting to the line of scrimmage with 15 seconds left, and he can see what the defense is lining, what he can, and he is able to adjust to the defense and what they're lining up with. It feels like the offense runs smoother when that is the case, whether or not you're in a hurry up. I feel like the hurry up really is just kind of a question of, well, they're getting the play calls in a little faster. And maybe that's why you're seeing more in that scenario, a little more success. But man, with Sean Payton, take a zoom out. To anybody who wants to criticize Sean Payton, zoom out for just a second. We are 9-2. The Denver Broncos are 9-2. You have the best record in the AFC in 2025, and your offense has played like this. I understand that means your defense has played really well, but that's a testament to the coaching staff that you've put together. And more than that, it's a testament to the culture that you've built here over the last 3 years. When 3 years ago, at this same point in the season, you were 3-8 instead of 9-2. It's just, guys, you've got a head coach that does more than just call plays here. He builds a culture. He demands the best from his players, and there are inconsistencies in the offense that continue to need to be worked on. That is absolutely a fact. But you're 9-2. You just beat the division rivals who have won the AFC West 9 years running, and sent them into a place where they have to basically win out to even compete for the division at this point. And that's a place that we didn't think the Broncos were really going to be in going into the season at this point. And so I just got to give Coach Payton a ton of credit for that, if nothing else. Soapbox is over. Spotty, go.
Well, I was going to point to this because you led me to Jeff's comment here about if the offense has the ability to go the distance. And I called a 49ers fan this week. We were chatting about the Broncos because he was not a believer. And one of the things that I said is, if Bo Nix could be Alex Smith, the Broncos are going to be fine. And in this particular game, did he do anything that wowed you where you're like, okay, like, yes, he made a 25 or 30-yard throw. You're like, oh, my gosh, that's the best throw I've ever seen in my whole entire life. No. And he didn't have any touchdowns, right? But what he did was he didn't turn the ball over, okay? He managed the game for us. He got us in the spots that we needed. When we called his number, when we called his name, 3rd and 15, Bo showed out, okay? Yes, we know there's still some of the touch issues, the down the field issues, but you know what? There's a guy in the second year. He's definitely going to improve on that. And we know after last year, after the bye week, that's when we saw Bo really turn up. So whether that's them installing new things, them changing things up, players getting healthy, I think it's going to be I really see the Broncos are on the upward trajectory. We're not asking to be the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offense in the NFL. If we're 15, right?
Yeah.
The 15 offense in the league that's averaging 20 points a game, I guarantee you almost win every single one of your games.
And we talked about it. We talked about it on the pregame, guys. All we need to see is the Bo from the last 6 games of last season. It wasn't like he was lighting the league on fire then either, but he was taking care of the football. He was making good decisions down to down. That's all we need. That's all we need with this defense to make serious noise in the playoffs.
Well, and we're in a great position with Bo to be able to let him develop. And I think that the NFL right now is in don't let a quarterback develop league. Like, 1 year goes wrong for them and then they can't develop. We are in the best position of any NFL team to have a young quarterback with the defense that we have to be able to right now manage the game, build on what he's been doing. And then eventually he's going to be that guy that's going to be able to score consistently. And I believe it. He's getting better every single week. And then, he has one down week on national television. That sucks. We still win the game, so who cares? Right? And the national media can talk all they want, but he's coming out here and he's doing what he needs to do, allowing him to develop into a better quarterback. He's in the best position of anybody in the league right now, and I'm okay with it.
When you're talking about everything, the leadership on this team. You could have the best arm in the league as a quarterback. You could be the smartest head coach, the highest football IQ. If nobody respects you, if nobody's listening to you, if you do not know how to lead people around you, it doesn't matter how talented you are. So to have this high caliber, talent in both our head coach and our quarterback, in addition to the leadership skills that both of these guys have brought into the building since day one, guys, we've hit it out of the park, and we're finally starting to see like the real fruits of all of this talk, all of this effort, all this bickering back and forth of this and that, this and that. This was right. This was the bad move. I don't like this. I like that. Here we are, guys. We beat the Chiefs. We shut them down. We played for them back and forth all freaking game. Even when the Chiefs got the lead in the fourth, there was no real momentum swing. From the stands and the fans, the loudest. I don't know if you guys heard me say this before. The loudest I've heard it since 2015, and even Sean Payton said that at the podium after the game, talking about how it's the loudest game he's heard in Denver since he's been here. So everything is going right for the Broncos, and it's people compare this team to the Broncos or to the Chiefs of last year, where they were winning these one-score games. There's, I think, a whole lot more just different culture and a drive that this team has that maybe last year's Chiefs didn't, and I think that's just going to play into our hands so well as we get into the playoffs here, because that's what we got to start. It's not official, but we're talking playoffs and playoff seeding for the Broncos. And we just finished week 11, guys. Do you realize how crazy that is? I mean,
that's the thing, and it is crazy. And then you fall back on it, and it's just a numbers game. Like you're at 9 wins. Realistically,
what's the number?
Yeah, what's the number?
Yeah.
Where's the abacus?
I put it away. I put the abacus. I have put the hibiscus away.
Right. If you look for it, because I think just estimating, it feels like 2 more wins get you in. Talk about division, wild card, seeding, whatever you want. It feels like 2 wins gets you to the dance at this point.
Would you say 97.6% chance for the Broncos to make the playoffs right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And to really think about where we are in this, there was something I said. I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up. There's something I said at the beginning of the season when we were given our win projections. And I was saying 13, and I said something along the lines of there could be a scenario where week 18 comes around and the Broncos are sitting their starters. And you guys, for about a week and a half, every time I said anything, you just pointed and laughed at me, talking about how ridiculous I was. It was an honest 10 days or something like that. I can't remember.
That seems possible.
However, I don't remember who it was in our chat earlier today or yesterday. One of you guys said there is a likely, not right promising, but there is a possibility, a solid chance the Broncos could find themselves sitting their starters in Week 18 if we continue to win out between here and there.
Which I prefer. I have tickets that already, so it could be a game.
In the throwbacks too, I believe that's the third week that they're in the throwbacks this season. Yep. So yeah, if Week 18 they're starting Jarrett Stidham in those beautiful throwbacks, that's a bummer.
Oh, that's what people wanted, Jarrett Stidham to get a chance, right?
Right? Yeah, no, yeah. God, whoa!
What a bad take that is now, huh? Yeah. All right, so we are approximately 2 wins according to the famous biscuits.
Yes,
we're 2 wins away from probably for sure making the playoffs. And I think we're about 3 wins, maybe 4 wins away from winning the AFC West, and getting a home field advantage for the thing. But a big one's going to be the Chargers. We're going to have to take care of the Chargers, and we're going to have to take care of the Jaguars.
Gotta have it. That's
the Chargers and the ambulance that they're going to ride in on.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're 2 games behind us.
Line.
Yeah.
But they see the Chargers winning. Anything can happen in the second half.
Yeah, that's it. And now, Kev, I want to say this about your early in the season. I think you're probably right. I think I remember that. However, I will also say that not only I, but several of us predicted the Broncos to win 12 or more games. So it's not like we were in.
How many more of you said more than 12? I was pretty sure I was in the minority when it came to 13.
I think I said 13.
You were in the minority at 13, but I think the rest of us said 12 or 11.
Yeah. So it's not as if we were we're playing different sports, maybe in different ballparks, but
we were close.
Anyway.
We were close.
Now, I will also say that making fun of you for 10 days straight just sounds like something we would do. So not outside the realm of possibility in that regard.
I try to keep it a realistic story, and I thought that sounded about right. So
I want people to be honest. When Travis Kelce scored that touchdown, there's some air that came out of your sails, right?
Oh, yeah.
There was a feeling when he went down and scored that touchdown, has this ridiculous celebrations as is Travis Kelce, that in my head I'm like, damn it, this is much like the same. And then I was quickly reminded that this Broncos fourth quarter offense / defense is one of the greatest things. I'm telling you, you watch it and you sit there and you're like, Pat Mahomes has the ball with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. I've watched so many games where Pat Mahomes then takes it, he leads them down to a score. It's the end of the game. And the Broncos did 2 straight 3 and outs.
That's it, buddy.
3 and outs.
2 straight 3 and outs against a team who's like bottom 3 in the NFL at having in 3 and out rate. Like, they are one of the best in the NFL at avoiding 3 and outs. And when you absolutely need it in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes to go, with 4 minutes to go, you force 2 3 and outs in a row, and your offense goes and scores field goals on both drives. There
was 2 parts of this game that I was like, one super excited for, and the other one, you're right, that touchdown from Travis Kelce took the win out of my sails. And it wasn't because of the touchdown, it wasn't because of the celebration. It was because I saw 𝐒𝐭𝐫𝐿 be human, right?
He just bounced off him.
He just bounced right off him. And at first I was like, what are we watching? Who is this guy? And like, he makes, he bounces off one time, doesn't wrap up, but like, he's been so solid for us the whole time. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
He's allowed to have a bad play. It's fine. Let's go. Let's move it. The other one was, and I think I put it in the chat, and I want to say it was after the interception. And then we started driving the ball, and I was like, man, momentum is a hell of a drug. Right? Like, we as soon as we started getting momentum, I want to actually say it was in the first half, we got momentum for some reason. And we just started rolling. And we were just doing some things that like we weren't doing before that. And it was like, as soon as we got the momentum, we were doing a little bit more high off tempo, right? We were getting the line a little bit faster. The ball was getting out cleaner. Like it just seemed like everything once we had that momentum. And again, I think that the crowd noise had a lot to do with it, and the excitement that the crowd had for that home field advantage was definitely there in that game. But as soon as we started getting that momentum, we just started rolling, and it was really nice to have.
It was amazing. I'll be honest. I mean, Linnea, you guys know Linnea, sitting next to me, could not hear her when the defense was on the field. And it was absolutely nuts. I would stop screaming and then kind of be taken aback by oh, now that I'm not the one generating noise, I'm like the amplitude, how loud it was around me was just absolutely crazy from the very beginning of the game. So Broncos Country showed up. 201 no-shows. By far the lowest. I'm just saying the lowest amount of no-shows. I remember the days of 2,000, 3,000. You're like, oh, only 3,000 no-shows? That's pretty damn good. It's because we won the last week. Okay, right? Now we're sitting here like 200 no-shows. Freaking phenomenal. So I'm proud of Broncos Country. They showed up. Yeah, there were a number of Chiefs fans, but there weren't as many as I thought there would be at the end of the day. So look, I think Mile High is really solidified itself this season as a scary place to play in. You know, the home crowd's behind the guys, and when we bring the noise, we bring the noise. So if they keep doing that from here on out, dude.
I'll tell you this, boy, you've been hearing a lot of Drake May's name a lot this year, and deservedly so. He's played really well.
He's played pretty well.
No. Hold on.
This is the Patriots portion of the show.
The look, you can talk about the Patriots schedule being what it is. Drake May's played really well this year. However, bring the Patriots to Mile High in January and see what happens to them.
Oh man, I would love that. That's why I really want that. I want that home field advantage, because if they are, it looks like they're going to win their division as well. But if we end up seeing them and we have the better record and they come to us after the first round, man, it would be beautiful. I would just love every second of it. But I do want to mention, as we go, before we move on to anyone, I want to throw a shout out to somebody that I don't think anybody, including us in the pregame, anybody said that was going to be absolutely outstanding for this game, and it was Justin Strnad.
No. Okay, go. Yes.
We talk about McMillan, and we'll talk about McMillan all day. And I think he's been getting his credits everywhere. David's got somebody else, but McMillan got his credits everywhere. 2 sacks, right? He had 2 sacks. He had the interception. He had 2 interceptions technically. We had the 1 interception that counted. And so I think it was absolutely beautiful that he played just a very good game. And if you watch a breakdown of McMillan on the sack at the end of the game, he played that all the way up until the last second of that play clock. He disguised that so well that he had no idea he was coming. It was just a perfectly well-executed play, a good play called by BJ. But I want to talk about Justin Strnad for a minute. Everybody was excited for Dre Greenlaw to come out here and be the guy and go do it. Obviously, with the injury to Singleton, we were like, okay, we're out 2 of our top guys, right? We're out Pat Surtain and Singleton. It's going to be tough for the defense. Strnad goes out there and gets 10 total tackles, 4 of them solo, and just absolutely destroys their run game. He stops that run game. It was everything that he could. And he had just an amazing game. And he was our number 1 leading tackler in the game at the inside linebacker position. So I got it. Hats off to him for stepping up into a role in that next man up.
Jared and his inside linebackers, man.
Yes.
Why don't we just send him a Justin Strnad jersey, brother?
He's not wrong.
I might.
I have to give a quick shout out before we move on to Frank Crum, who makes maybe the play of the game. And man, talk about symmetry with last year's Chiefs game as far as the Broncos nailing that 35-yard field goal as time expires, when last year, of course, it was blocked. But, a little bit more symmetry with the Broncos blocking an extra point that if they don't block it, the Chiefs are up 4 instead of 3 going into that game, that last drive scenario for the Broncos. And then they have to score a touchdown instead of a field goal to win it. It's Frank Crum, a guy who much maligned, who had, maybe one of the worst preseasons from any offensive lineman that we've seen. And that was 2 seasons ago. This last preseason, I don't remember Frank Crum being that much of a liability, but big shout out to him for blocking that extra point. Completely changing the end of game trajectory for the Denver Broncos. And, a guy that some fans questioned why he made the active roster to start the year. Big shout out to him.
Yeah, I love it.
We're doing shout outs to people who just the only person I want to mention is Palchevsky again, because we haven't talked to him about him in a couple of weeks, and it looks like there was going to be an issue at guard for us for a little while there once Ben Powers went down. Palchevsky this is probably the first time I even remember his name being said during this game, and that's because he fell out of his shoe, and then the next play he had some call or whatever. But other than that, he solidified the line for us. So hats off to that guy, because honestly, after I don't even remember the guy who we replaced Ben Powers with at this point because we put him on IR right after that. But it seems that the line play has not been an issue since then.
Correct.
Well, and then when he's going up against guys like Chris Jones, like, I mean, like if you're able to stop that guy from getting a Bo Nix, you're doing something right, even as a backup stepping up. But like this whole like next man up mentality that the Broncos have has been working out very well for us. And I love this, the fact that we have the depth. Again, no name depth. And I remember, I think was it last year, everyone was like, this defense is a bunch of no names, but they're doing so well until Bonito started like lighting up the sack records. And then now again, it's another one of those like, okay, who's on the defense? We got Pat Surtain out, right? Dre Greenlaw, obviously you got 𝐒𝐭𝐫𝐿, and then outside of that, who do you got? And you have this list of guys, Bonito, Cooper. You have now the entire defense is named. We have depth too. We have McMillan being the star of the game, who's a nickel corner, right? And even then probably wasn't our starting nickel corner at the beginning because Barron was, right? And so like you have all these backups that are stepping up and winning the big games and buying into the culture that Sean Payton has built and BJ has built on the defense. Just anybody, it's like next man up. Let's go out there and do the thing. And it's been amazing to watch.
Let's go. Oh yeah, go Spotty.
No,
I forgot it because the comment went by a long time ago, and we started talking about other things. Riley Moss. So somebody wrote a comment about Riley Moss, and I want to go back to that and talk. Unfortunately, for anybody who's going to complain about Riley Moss, this is definitely not the group of guys to complain about.
Yeah.
We're
not here, friends.
Yeah, we're 100% on the right. I am telling you, some of the Riley Moss calls are some of the biggest crap calls I've seen in the NFL. And if anybody else calls it anything different, I'm telling you, like the one, I believe it was Hollywood Brown. He turned around, the ball was shorted, and Riley's hand is on his chest. Yeah, but it's not like he's is inside of his jersey. It's not on holding his shoulder pad back. 100%. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, and I feel there's at least one of those calls every single game. And of course, now when anybody's going to do an analyst on this, they're going to look at it and they're going to say, well, Riley Moss has the most pass interference calls in the NFL. Well, you know what? Damn it. You go across the other side for Pat Surtain for most of the season and tell me if you're going to get more PI calls, because every quarterback and their grandmother is throwing the ball to your side, and he's not getting the benefit of the doubt.
No,
I'm telling you, there are more handsy cornerbacks in the league, and there's not a single call where you're like, And even the Tony Romo, who I can't listen to him, I'm muting him for now on, was like, that was not really anything. So just remember, guys, yes, Riley will give up one a game, like when we feel like you want to get down on him about it. But again, till this point, he's still giving up some of the lowest percentages of catches in the NFL.
Yeah.
When you're a blanket corner like that, you're going to get calls. And that's just how it works. Like, if you have that good of coverage, if the ball is not thrown perfectly, you're probably going to get some sort of call. I do agree. I think the Hollywood Brown, where he had his hand on his chest, it was absolutely excellent coverage. Just excellent coverage. He gets the flag. And it's happened almost every game. It happens. And everyone's like, freaking Riley Moss, here we go again. And like, yeah, you look at the stats and like, well, that sucks. I think I was going to mention this at the beginning of the game, but if you look at the recap, we won in every single category, including most penalty yards.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I was going to mention that, like, we won yards, we won first downs, we won third down conversions, we won all these things. And we also, both of us had 10 penalties, and we had like 154 yards. They had like 90. And I think one of them was because of that big, long, the touchdown leading drive, right, where he ends up getting that pass interference. Everyone's like, you got to be kidding me, man. And it sucks in the NFL as opposed to college, where that pass interference is spotted a foul as opposed to 15 yards. He's getting it, 60 yards downfield. You're like, come on, man. But it's not his fault. I really, again, Spotty, you mentioned it. Like, if you're going to come in here and complain about Riley Moss, be like, we got to do something about these penalty calls. We're not the right group of people to talk about that.
No. And it feeds on itself, right? Like, you get this reputation among NFL referees for being a guy who gets pass interference calls, so they're watching you harder, so they penalize you for things that they would maybe let go in a neutral situation with another cornerback. Doesn't matter which other team, just because you have that reputation, and now they think, oh, well, that's, it's just that mental bias. Guys, I'll tell you what, mini soapbox again. And Kev, I know we're supposed to move on, but we're going to a bye week, so we don't really have anything to move on.
We can talk all game about this.
Absolutely.
I just want to get my announcements out of the way, but otherwise, I don't care.
Yeah. NFL officiating. Guys, I think the way to fix NFL officiating is to make this a full-time job with a union that represents NFL officials. You get guys who are actually doing this every single day for a living. You don't get guys who do this as a hobby to do this can't be a weekend job if you are the biggest sports property in the United States, which the NFL is. You've got to make this a job. You've got billionaire owners. Give these guys $100,000 a year, $120,000 a year, $150,000 a year to make this their job. Get it right every single week. Because this volunteer thing where you're getting guys who are doing it as their day jobs and their lawyers and their whatever else, and then they have, just make it a whole thing. Well,
you would think, especially there's so much money pouring into everything now with gambling and whatnot. Like, you would think that you'd want to put on this product where there's just you show that you're investing in your refs, right? You're investing in the fairness of the game, and you're not talking about a ton of money. I mean, for the NFL, paying your refs something like $150,000 a year to make sure that's their full-time job and they can focus just on that. That doesn't add up to that much money, right? But I mean, players do. How many hours a week of film study do these guys go through? Why can't the refs be doing the same thing? Why can't the refs be running through drills, practicing calls, and then reviewing that themselves and learning from their mistakes during that versus learning during the game? Why is it week 11 and we're still like, it's kind of like a preseason, the refs are still kind of figuring it out. Okay, this is ridiculous, right?
Right. And and Andrew, yes, I do remember when the scabs came in. They are still not full-time employees. Go double check this. They do not have a union. They are not full-time employees. They are still part-time employees who have full-time jobs doing something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey guys, really quickly, let's take a quick break here. I know the other guys need to stretch out and grab their Uncrustables and everything like that, grab their halftime snacks. So while they do that, guys, remember every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we are live with another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. Be here for it, guys. We'll be talking Broncos and hanging out with y'all. Good stuff up ahead. Normally, except for this week, because it's the bye week, we have our pregame podcast. That's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there, so make sure you go follow us and check us out there. On game days, we are live 1 hour before kickoff with a live tailgate talk show, breaking down all the last-minute information, getting you ready for kickoff. And then we are live at halftime as well for the original halftime show, the Halftime Hash. Make sure you check us out. The next live full Broncos game coverage that we're going to be doing is on December 7th against the Raiders, guys. We'll be on the road in Las Vegas, and so tune in on that day. Again, we're live 1 hour before kickoff, but we will be live throughout the entirety of the game. So make sure you tune in for that and hang out with us while we watch the Broncos kick some Raiders ass.
Kev, Dan, because all the live shows have been tough to watch, man.
Yeah. They haven't. So hopefully, because I picked the first two games thinking, they should be good games, but this should be a good game we should be able to win pretty easily, right? No, apparently not. So hopefully the Raiders game will be a little bit more relaxing and I'm not drinking it super early from already being stressed. Hey, we also got the post-game show, post-game podcast live on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Mountain Time as well. So tune in for that. Broncos and Bourbon.com is our website. If you want to just be able to find the latest video that we put up on YouTube or latest show or podcast episode without remembering my whole spiel here that I give every time, just go to broncosandbourbon.com. Right there on the homepage, you'll find all of our latest stuff. You also get a article section that Adam's doing a whole bunch of writing for us over there, putting up some good stuff, comments for you guys to interact and talk and share your thoughts on the subject. So make sure you go over there, sign up for free today. We are keeping it free through the end of the Super Bowl. After that, anybody who signs up is going to have to start looking at paying for an upgrade to their membership. All of you who have signed up this year will get a free upgrade to their membership once that's introduced. So make sure you go sign up now to get in on that while it's in the ground floor. Hey guys, we are at 9 wins, and all season long, I've been saying it. When we get to 10 wins, count them out, Jared. When we get to 10 wins, we're going to be giving away 3 Bo Nix jerseys. The way to do it, guys, is it's a pretty safe bet at this point that we're going to hit 10 wins. So what we're going to do is the Tuesday show after the 10th win. Come on over here. We're going to tell you what to comment to enter into the prize drawing. And then at the end of the show, we're going to be doing the prize drawing for those 3 Bo Nix jerseys. Make sure you tune in. We're celebrating our 10th year at Bourbon Broncos and No BS. And by giving away 3 number 10 jerseys just seems absolutely perfect. I would say 10 number 10 jerseys, but that's just ridiculous and doesn't even make any sense. So
number 10 into your chest hair, right?
I have. Yeah, it's there's a little patch right here. And so it's kind of small. You have to squint, but it's there. I promise you.
For sure. Now, hold on real quick.
Anyway,
let's give credit where credit is due, because Andrew is correct here. The refs do have a union. So, but we are on the same page. Not full-time employees, but he is correct. The referees do have a union anyway. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I think pretty much that's it, guys. Make sure you're following us all the different places. Appreciate you guys in the comments for being here and tuning in and watching, commenting. We got some more stuff to talk about, because while Sean Payton gave the all the players, entire coaching staff a week off for their bye week, we did not get our phone call. Not sure if we were just skipped on the list, if our phone number was misprinted, but nobody called us to give us a week off, so we're still here and we're happy to be it.
So
let's keep talking about the Broncos.
The Barbie dumb phone that we purchased to be our corporate phone, guys. I think we need to upgrade on that. I just
You guys got me a dummy phone,
but the ringtone is so perfect.
I know, and it's got the flip and like even the antenna that pulls up. It's retro. I think that maybe
you guys told me that thing was real.
Well,
I mean, it's had bad reception on it.
It's not that it's not a real phone. It's just that anyway.
Hey, look, I let you guys give your names of who stood out for you, and here's mine. I think obviously it goes without saying, but he needs to be mentioned, and because I think the pressure that he was under, to be in this situation almost repeated from last year. Go out there and drill the ball right down the middle as the game closed. Big nuts, Lutz. I mean, and this time you're in front of your own fans too. So if something goes wrong again, I mean, not to say last year was his fault. It was just blocked, right? But still, like, if something goes wrong again, you can't live that down twice. So the pressure that these guys live under, and they play. You don't see them all game, and then at the end of the game, they just walk out there like, I'm still winning for us. So big nuts, Lutz. Man, I am so glad Sean Payton brought you up here, man. You've been clutch, and special teams in general just played a hell of a perfect game. So as much crap as I've been given than the last few weeks and whatnot, I have absolutely nothing to say about it other than you can't ask for a better performance than that.
Anybody else thought he was going to say for Brony?
I did too. I was thinking about it.
I was going to say for Brony.
I gotta keep you guys on your toes. I can't do it every time. If I do it every time, it becomes predictable. And
for 2 years, he's been doing it.
I will also say, did you guys hear Dave Logan's call on the game-winning field goal?
Yeah.
It is so funny.
I won't even say it.
He's like, he tries to avoid like, okay, we're going for the field goal. It's like a 33-yarder. It just happened. You know what? I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it. And then he's like, and this one's not blocked. And this one's not blocked.
But like 5 for 5, too. Like 5 for 5 in a game that you won 22-19, including a 54-yarder. And yeah, you had the game winner. But every kick that you had to make, you made, and it was the difference between victory and defeat this week. So yeah, absolutely nothing but credit to Lutz. Just nails, cold, ice water in his veins.
Sean says, why would it be impressive? He does it every week. That's why it's impressive.
Hey, it's the toughest gig, right? You know, it's one of look how many guys how many teams this year have gone through more than one kicker. I guarantee that at least 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how many for those teams, like having the stability at kicker would have been the difference between having 2 more wins this season than they have, you know, like it's invaluable. You don't remember until you don't have it, you know?
Yeah, it's nice to have that like consistency there.
Yeah,
It's true. Yeah, this is a true fact. It is true. On my other one, I have your name tattooed on it. It says your name.
I thought it was just supposed to be my name and a heart, but that's fine. I live for Jared's fine too.
The one that has Jared is in the heart, and the other side it says your name.
Oh, I like both those. My name's on your butt cheeks twice. It's interesting.
there it is.
Well, no, just once. No, just once.
Okay.
The one says your name. The one says Jared. The other says your name.
Is this what happens when people spend too much time on a ship, David?
Yeah, basically.
Right. No, that, and then they also, when you see them on land, they start to stumble around a little bit, because on a ship, you kind of have to stumble around to stay equal because the ship is rocking back. And anyway.
Well, that's why Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean walked funny, right? Because anyway.
That's it.
Anyway,
Broncos football.
This ship. Let's write this.
I have to call out
the most important game in the second half of the year.
What's the most for the Broncos?
Yeah, what's the most important game for the second half of the year?
Chargers.
I mean, it's got to be the Chargers game. To me, that's your main threat in the division now.
At this point, it's about winning the AFC West over anything else for me, right? Like we have games up, and we've dropped one to the Chargers already, and I think we need to at least go 50% with them, so that we can go into this with the AFC West Championship, and obviously home field at least for the first game in the wild card round. If we end up taking the first round bye, which I still think that's a long way away, and I don't really want to talk about that. A lot of people are like, right now we got the first round bye. Like let's pump the brakes a little bit. Like let's see how this plays out. Right? There's a lot of really good teams in the NFL, especially the AFC.
I disagree strongly, but go ahead.
I mean, if you look at obviously New England, I think is going to drop them. I don't think it's going to be them, but Indy has a very good. I mean, they have a very crappy division that they play in, right? So they have a few games in there. Tennessee again is one of them, and then they play Jacksonville again, and so they have kind of an easier schedule going into it. It's going to be between the two of us, and I think they have the team to be able to do it. Anyways, besides the point, I do think that the important part right now is winning the AFC West so that we can at least have home field advantage if we don't get that number one bye.
Here's why I disagree. And it's just because this is where you are. Like, we don't have to think about it in terms of let's pump the brakes. To me, you're 9-2. You're tied for the best record in the NFL right now. Like, you may have this and that to say about how the team is performing, and there are definitely legitimate. Yeah, no, I get it, Sean. You're right. But and I understand that reaction from Broncos country. I do. But the fact of the matter is, you are where you are. You are what your record says you are on November 18th, going into Thanksgiving, when all the talking heads say, "Oh, hey, Thanksgiving is when the NFL season really starts." Oh, so just embrace it. Embrace the fact that you're 9-2. Embrace the expectations. Embrace that you are that team, because you just beat the Chiefs, which means you just beat both of the teams that played in the Super Bowl last year, and you can go as far as you want to as a team. The expectations that you had for yourself before the season are now as realistic as you want to make them. So go for it. Reach for the number one seed, because right now that's where you are. Why not?
Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna say, in terms of the most important game left on the schedule, I'm gonna say
you love her, Sean.
We need to win out.
Love her.
Exactly. We need to win out. I think it is really important because it's possible. It's very possible. Look, the Raiders, come on. Commanders, come on. Green Bay at home, very winnable game. Jaguars again at home. Okay, come on. Like, those are 4 games that are very winnable for us. We should be able to walk away with each one. Then all of a sudden, that Chiefs game on Thursday night on Christmas becomes very important, because then you don't have to worry about week 1 bye or not. If you win that game, you win those 4 games, you rest your starters on week 18. You give yourself a bye week that week, right? And then it doesn't matter if the Colts just don't end up losing enough and we lose the tiebreaker to them, they get the number 1 seed, whatever, right? The destiny for us to have a somewhat of a bye is in our hands. And it goes down to, can we then beat the Chiefs on Christmas Day on that short week to be able to give ourselves a really nice break going into the playoffs with home field advantage for at least that first week?
Well, It all is kind of a trick because, we could say everyone's important, but I think it is that Chiefs game on Christmas. I know we're playing them right now, and, we're feeling very confident. I looked at the Chargers schedule. I think they have 2 more losses at least scheduled with the Eagles and potentially Houston with their defense. There could be more on there considering the health of the Chargers. So I actually don't believe that Week 18 is going to be any game that will really even play. And for us, for talking about getting the monkey off the back, it's really playing the Chiefs in Arrowhead. We've shown that we can compete against the Chiefs at home. Like last year we lost on a field goal, and we've played them tough. Even when Russell Wilson was here, we played them tough. Yeah. But where we're looking to show that we have the chops to be the tops of AFC, the AFC West, I believe, is at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Well, that blocked field goal was in Arrowhead.
We
basically won in Arrowhead, and then Patrick Mahomes running after the game. Yeah, we won. Oh, dude, shut up! Right, like, no thanks to you, right? Exactly.
It's winning there because I guarantee you the talking heads and all these other people out there, they're going to shut up when the Broncos win at Arrowhead because I've looked at the Chiefs schedule too, and I think that could potentially be the nail in the coffin for them as well. So that means an added pressure of trying to beat them there, trying to solidify the number 1 seed, and then potentially for the Chiefs to be playing for their playoff hopes.
Yeah, and I don't think you're spot on, and I don't think we've really hit home this point that Cat's making with Pat Surtain reportedly expected to come back after the bye week, and Alex Singleton as well. Again, it sucks when players go down for injury, but you get these other guys to get more playing experience, and then they play well like they did too, right? That's a confidence boost on top of just good NFL experience. So you're building your team's depth really well, unfortunately through injury situations. But dude, you get these guys back too, you can cycle people out. All of a sudden, like, teams are going to have even more of a challenge trying to scheme against you. When it's just like, who do you try to stop? Do you try to stop Benito? Well, then you got Cooper, Zach Allen, JFM. You got Hufanga in the backfield, blah, 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 this, that, right? So it's like, Q Robinson, yeah.
He got a half sack in this game.
He did. Like people are like, who are these people and they're making impacts in the game? It's phenomenal.
And let me, okay. I want to shout out the depth, guys. I know. Okay. I'm sorry. We've had quite a bit of bourbon, and to be honest with you, I had some to start the show too. So we're in a celebratory mood here at Bourbon Broncos and No BS. But Kev, you're talking about all these names, and we talked about the depth a little bit earlier on the defense. I'm glad we're circling back to it because, man, we need to shout out the secondary depth, specifically with Surtain out, how Chris Abrams-Drain has stepped up, how Jahdae Barron has stepped up, how Jaquan McMillan has stepped up in these situations. And, you can talk about Riley Moss, this, that, and the other. We've had the Riley Moss discussion. We're all on the same page about that. But, man, even up front, you're getting contributions from guys like 𝐁𝐫𝐸 𝐒𝐫𝐸 who had, with the gambling suspension and the team stuck by him. And now you are really seeing him flash, especially as a run defender in these rotational situations where it's like you are seeing contributions from a well-coached unit at every level of the defense. Jared, you shouted out Justin Stranad earlier. That was completely right on. He played a key role in that 3-play sequence that ended up with the Pat Surtain interception on all 3 plays. He played a key role in those plays. Like we said up front, you've got the secondary. It's really, really encouraging. And then to see these stars coming back to close out the season in a situation where they should be well rested, in a situation where they should be as healthy as they have been for a while, it's just adding up to a really, really encouraging close to the season for the Broncos.
I mean, if you just, I don't know, like take a 10-foot view out of it, right? Like take your head out of it and kind of like look at it in the bigger picture. Like, we are in such a good position in so many facets of life. Like, I already talked about the Bo Nix situation. Like, we're just in a good situation where he has a good defense. We can let him develop. We're in a good situation where in key games, according to Kevin, the game of the century. Going into this game, you have guys like Chris Abrams-Jane and the rookie and Jedi Barron and Riley Moss and all these guys having like big games and big situational time on the field. And then when you get Pat Surtain back, you have Justice Renaud getting this big game coming in, and then you get Singleton back. You know you have the depth for rotation. And you know now you have the depth, and you have these guys who have already played in the big games. It's not just like, oh, the backup's got to come in. We're like, no, we know what these guys can do, especially going into the rest of this, coming out of the bye, going into the playoffs. We know what our defense has. We know what our offense can do. And it's just we're just in one of those situations where it's just really nice to have. Yes, injuries suck. Are we going to get them back, and are we going to be better for it? Absolutely. But we also know that our backups are going to be able to do the thing. They're going to be able to go out there and do the thing to get the win. And they can against the reigning AFC champions. We have beat both teams that went to the Super Bowl this year, and I think that's not mentioned enough.
It's not.
Both teams that went to the Super Bowl last year, we have beat them this year, and I think that that says something big about the Denver Broncos. That says something big about what Sean Payton is building in the building.
Yeah, no, we broke the Eagles. You know, they were undefeated when we played them. They went down after that. I think we broke the Chiefs. Hearing reports today, I mean, it sounds like Andy Reid is throwing Mahomes under the bus. It sounds like Chris Jones is like calling out Spagnuolo or whatever the hell his name is. People are like in the media, like saying things apparently, right? So it just makes you wonder, like the Broncos broke the Panthers, Broncos broke the Eagles, Broncos broke this team, broke that team. Did we just break the Chiefs? I will tell. I don't know, guys.
We broke Nick Wright for sure, though. I don't know if anybody watched.
I've watched every clip of his that's popped up over the last 2 days.
Single one. I've been watching
single one. I've never watched more of this guy in my life.
He doesn't know what to say. He gets stumbled over his words. It's amazing.
And he also said that he lost a significant amount of money gambling against the Broncos. Just more, please.
Yeah.
World's smallest violin, right there, right there. Anyway, guys, let's get ready for some closing thoughts. Stick around. You are not going to want to miss what we have to say after my announcements here, because Spotty is going to tell you where exactly to find that hat. And it's a place you wouldn't expect. If you think like out west or maybe like a desert, Arizona, something like that. No, you'll be surprised. Stick around. Remember, guys, game days, we have our pregame show, our halftime show. We got our pregame podcast. None of that this week because of the bye week. We'll take a little time off there. However, coming back next week, we'll back in the full swing of things with our Monday night show at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Looking back over the first half of the season here. As we get ready for the last part, we got our Tuesday night show, this one, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and then we're right back at it with the Commanders out there in Washington, D.C. on November 30th at the end of the month. So things, take some downtime, enjoy a weekend where your heart's not going to go into cardiac arrest for at least a momentary period. I know I'm going to get less gray hairs this week. I'm sure it'll be nice for that. But either way, guys, just get ready for it because things are going to happen really fast. 6 games is a lot of football, but it's going to fly by. I mean, the fact we're already sitting here where we are right now is absolutely insane. And talking about playoffs and playoff seeding and everything. So get ready for it, guys. It's going to be fun. But let's go around the horn and let's start with Jared there because I want to save Spotty's surprise there for the end. Jared, closing thoughts, man. Broncos 9-2, 2-game lead in the AFC West. Freaking beautiful, dude.
Yeah, I can't give enough credit to the Broncos for that win. And there's a lot of accolades to go around. We already talked about a lot of them. People we haven't mentioned: Pat Bryant, 5 for 6, 5 receptions on 6 targets for 82 yards. The rookie just doing great things. Marvin Mims, 101 punt return yards, one of them being a 70-yard punt return. Just great to have him back. Didn't get involved in the offense much, but didn't really much need it. Troy Franklin, 4 receptions on 8 targets for 84 yards. Like the ball got spread around pretty well. So shout out to the offense and just kind of like spreading the ball out and getting what we needed to get the first downs to win the game. But yeah, 9-2. And before the season, we looked at the schedule and we said, hey man, like you're giving us the Chiefs off of their bye, which again, screw the whole like, oh man, they're like so great after the bye. Like, yeah, good. We put a nail into that one. But we looked at the beginning of the season, we were like, oh man, this is a terrible spot to have a bye. Now where we sit, like on Tuesday, the 18th of, is it November now? Yeah, November. We're sitting here and we're like, this is the greatest spot ever to have a bye. Like, we're in the greatest position ever to have a bye right now. And that includes, like, the injuries that we need to get healthy, and they're both going to be coming back because of that extra week that we're going to have. Possibly with Pastor Tan, we'll see where he's at. But yeah, it's just a really good spot to be in this whole situation. Just really nice to be in a position where we're 9-2, going into a bye, getting a chance to rest up, having extra time to prepare for the Commanders as we go into that game. I don't know if they're going to have their quarterback back to that second. The whole thought process there was the second-year quarterbacks battling head-to-head. It doesn't matter. I think we have a chance to win that game, but we're in a really good position to go into the bye, and I appreciate Sean Payton's concept of, like, let the guys have their week off, because we're doing the right things right now. Let's get some rest in for everybody, and then go into the second half of the season with a renewed kind of like thought process. I'm nothing great, but great things to say about where the Broncos are right now and going forward. And I'm excited to give away these three Bo-Nix jerseys. So yeah.
It's going to be great, man. I absolutely love it. David, what you got for us, man?
All right. Now, I want to start this comment by saying that I'm not going to name names. Because that's not what we do here at Bourbon Broncos and No BS. We don't call out fans by name. But there was a little bit of a groundswell for a certain narrative as far as the Chiefs officiating, a conspiracy theory, the NFL being fixed, etc., going into this game. And while I will concede that the Broncos, there were 10 penalties for 150 yards or something like that, including a couple of pass interference penalties that you can definitely argue for as long as you're blue in the face. However, there were two scenarios in which the Broncos were not screwed by the officials in this game that I want to shout out specifically. First, Jaquan McMillan's sack at the end of the fourth quarter on Patrick Mahomes, where Mahomes immediately gets up and starts complaining for a blow to the head. And yeah, in a second by second, no slow-mo scenario where a ref is seeing that, sure, I could see how maybe you would give that call to Patrick Mahomes when Jaquan McMillan kind of goes up a little bit high, even with the, in the slow-mo replay, you see there's really no contact with the head. It's a high hit, but there's really, it's just, you don't call that. And in the moment, the referee didn't call it. Second, when the Broncos game-winning drive on that 30-yard pass from Bo-Nix to Troy Franklin, Troy Franklin false started, guys.
So hard. He did. Bad.
You can call it whatever you want. Troy Franklin false started like hell. Yeah, and they just did not see it. And what? So and then he catches the pass that ends up getting the Broncos in game-winning field position.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm not going to say that the Chiefs have not been the beneficiary of certain calls throughout the years, certain calls that they maybe shouldn't have gotten. But in this specific game, the Broncos got a couple there that certainly went their way in key spots.
Yeah. And like Andrew says, they're blocking the back of the Chiefs kicking team that got called. You don't call that.
Almost nobody ever calls that.
You're not going to call that, but it was definitely a block.
No, it was the right call, but it almost never gets called.
Yeah.
Right. Like, leverage, but whatever. Spotty, tell us about the hat, man, and what you think about the Broncos.
First, let's start with the hat then, right? So as everybody knows, we have another member that's part of our team. His name is John. And after hearing him on all of these podcasts that we do, you would think that the man is all thumbs. But what you don't know about him is that he is a master seamster. Okay,
yes.
So I'm telling you, he's got a whole setup in that little closet downstairs. And if you walk into his house and you hear a loud yeehaw, he's going to work. Okay, so master seamster John, you can definitely bring that up to him on next Monday's call and ask him how he got his thumbs like that.
John is the master seamstress. Yeehaw!
Oh, all right. I could not read that.
Notes are taken, and he shall be asked.
That's it.
Closing
He's not
thoughts.
going to admit it. As some of you guys know, he's my college roommate. But
Right.
It's a little secret that I'll let you guys in on.
But
besides that, what's really interesting and that I kind of want to touch on about this Denver Broncos team that is now 9-2, and I can't say that enough, is the fact that I still believe that we have not put together a complete game at any point during this season. Okay, whether it's penalties, whether it's special teams issues, whether it's offensive issues. This Broncos team that is 9-2, I'll say it again, has gotten to this point. And if we find a way, even just to elevate our game in some of these areas, just a little bit, not on defense. We know they're good on there. Just elevating the game a little bit more on offense and then getting rid of some of these mistakes that we're making. I'm telling you, it's a force to be reckoned with. And every team, like, I get it. These people are out there, they're looking, they've seen what they've seen. They've watched one or two primetime games. They got up early one time to watch the London game, and they still don't understand how dangerous this team can be. And they're like, well, not everybody can come back in the fourth quarter, while everybody was screaming to the world last year after the Kansas City Chiefs went 12-0 in one-score games, and all they did was make it to the Super Bowl. And they didn't do anything that wowed anybody. That's exactly where the Broncos are at right now. We're not necessarily doing anything that wows anybody. And you know what? That's fine. I want you to take this team. I want you to underestimate them and think that you have the capability of beating them any day of the week. But I will tell you what, you're wrong. I guarantee you that the vast majority of the teams in this NFL do not have the capability, force, or stars to compete with us when we're playing at the best of our game. So after this bye week, if we come out like we know we can, I'm telling you it's going to be a tidal wave through the rest of the season.
Spotty, well said, man. I'm kind of surprised I didn't bring it up earlier. I'm talking to exactly what you're pointing to. Yeah, after the game, Jonathan Cooper was asked by I can't remember who about the confidence level in the team. And you know, there's standard canned answers that players give, like, oh yeah, like, you know, we could have done better, or, you know, I need to do better, blah, blah, right? Or in this case, like, oh yeah, we're very confident. The way he answered it, the look he had in his eyes, and not just he said, you know, we're incredibly confident, and then he said, who's going to stop us? And you could tell, like, there was real feeling behind that statement. That was not just a canned, I'm just going to, you know, be nice to the press. He asked the honest question. Who's going to stop us? Dude, that you don't just like create that out of thin air. Yeah, you know, like there's some real fire in that locker room. And when you say these guys believe in themselves, their attitude is, who's going to stop us? You couldn't stop us. You couldn't. None of y'all could. So who's going to? And so far, everyone's come up short. You know, you can go back to the first two games of the season, but you just point to how absolutely close those games were. And that could have gone the other way incredibly easily. So, look, we're sitting here. It's beautiful. Sean, I don't want to talk about how often Spotty's been to John's closet. We're not going to go there at the end of the show. Yeah. There's a reason he knows that. But anyway, guys, you're fantastic. Sean, Ken, freaking Ray in the comments, Andrew, all you guys are fantastic. Shout out to Gary, our marketing guy working behind the scenes for us. You guys are fantastic. Gary's fantastic as always. So thanks for all the help there. But again, to all the people in the comments, you guys are fans. You're phenomenal. So thank you for tuning in. Come back every week, every time we do these shows. Love doing it and love seeing you guys pop up in the chat there. So Jared, David, Spotty, you guys, once again, great show. Good talking to you guys. It's just, you know, it's fun whether, you know, even when the Broncos aren't doing well, but I got to tell you, Broncos being at this 9-2 position, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. So, hey, guys, we will be back next Monday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time will be our next live show. Make sure you're following us on YouTube and Facebook and stuff so that you can see the daily videos and other stuff that we push out throughout the week. And make sure you go sign up at broncosandbourbon.com so you can see the articles we're pushing as well. Guys, more Broncos content coming your way, more Broncos football coming your way, more Broncos wins coming your way with some football playoffs soon to follow. So that being said, we're going to end the show here. We've been talking for a while, and I know I got nothing left to say other than end this as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos!
Go Broncos!
Take care, guys. We'll see you later.
Right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. 'Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go.